factor for disease burden in the 10 to 24-year-olds, and it's the #1 risk factor for the age group 25 to 49. And so that has big repercussions on community health, on our societies, and even on the economy. Because if young people cannot contribute to their families, communities, and society, that has, of course, negative consequences for the countries we live in. In the social dimension of sustainable development, I think it's really important to highlight how big the secondhand harm from alcohol actually is. I think we all know that children, young people, and women, I just mentioned one fact, they are all disproportionately harmed by alcohol. I'm looking forward to hearing some of the evidence and some of the stories from all the other speakers here today. But what is really underestimated and underappreciated is that the total harm from alcohol is nearly double that of the total harm from tobacco. What that means is if you put the direct harm from alcohol to the user, to the body of the user, so to say, the medical harm, if you put that together with the secondhand harm to everyone around the user, then that total harm is nearly double that of tobacco, because tobacco is really harmful to the user, is actually also really harmful to others around the user, you know, the secondhand and the third-hand smoke. But alcohol secondhand harm is 3 times that of tobacco. So that just tells us how severe the secondhand effects from alcohol are, because for tobacco, they are already very serious. And we know this, for example, for the situation of children, that in New Zealand, 45% of deaths due to alcohol-related fires are in children. So here we really see innocent children dying because of fires that are caused actually due to alcohol. And when parents have severe alcohol use problems, children have a 30% higher risk of experiencing violence compared to children of parents who are not identified with alcohol use problems. So this is just one example of how much our children are affected by alcohol harm, one example of these secondhand effects. As I said, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the environmental harm. And there are many sustainable development goals that fall into the environmental dimension of sustainable development. That can be biodiversity loss, water insecurity, that can be pollution, and of course, greenhouse gas emissions and the climate crisis. And so for all these SDGs, we can show with world-class evidence how alcohol is harming environmental sustainability. I think a really serious problem is drought in our different countries. Again, it's the hottest summer here in Europe in human history, or at least as long as humans have measured heat. And our rivers are running dry, our groundwater is running dry. These are new problems here in Europe. I think these are more long-standing problems for many Asian countries. So alcohol production is fueling water insecurity and actually drought, because alcohol production is very, very water intense. Another dimension is the agriculture and the farmers' livelihoods, where the alcohol industry is actually exploiting farmers. The alcohol industry is trying to purchase the rights to crops so that farmers cannot grow whatever they like based on their knowledge, and they have to buy the crops or the rights to use crops from alcohol companies. What alcohol production also does is that it deteriorates biodiversity. So when we have alcohol factories, alcohol production sites, then there's lots of pollution, there is lots of environmental degradation, and so the biodiversity is decreasing around those facilities. The whole alcohol production and alcohol distribution value chain, so to say, is really emitting lots of greenhouse gas emissions. And so the alcohol industry is severely contributing to the climate crisis. The numbers are actually quite staggering. And that can be about, using glass bottles for beer is actually really bad for the climate. And then, of course, pollution from beer cans and other alcohol containers is also a big problem in many countries. And last but not least, unsustainable consumption of precious resources. So if we live in a world with increasing water insecurity and drought, increasing food insecurity, and actually hunger of many people, we have to consider whether we can use crops for making food, or whether we should use crops and water for making a harmful product, a really harmful product as alcohol. So the levels of alcohol consumption, they are not sustainable when it comes to even the environmental dimension. And one important perspective here is from a community in South Africa, where Vanessa Ludwig, the CEO of the civil society group called Surplus People Project, she is saying they export our water in the form of wine. What it means is that in South Africa, they are growing and making wine that is being sold in Sweden and Germany, so in European countries, for example. But since wine production is so water intensive, it means that the people who live in South Africa, in these communities, they don't have drinking water. All the drinking water is actually used to grow wine and to make wine and sell wine in Europe and other high-income countries. So that is the environmental dimension, and the global justice dimension here of the alcohol industry. And then last but not least, there is at the global level tremendous economic harm from alcohol. A recent study showed that on average, our countries are losing 2.6% of gross domestic product because of the costs from alcohol. About 1/3 of those costs are direct costs, but the majority of the costs in terms of economic harm are indirect. They are loss of productivity costs. So this is really important for our societies. We would be much more productive if we had much less alcohol consumption and alcohol harm. And in OECD countries, I think some Asian countries also belong to the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD. We can show that labor participation and productivity losses are almost $600 billion. So these are just two facts to illustrate a little bit the economic harm. And to wrap up then, I'm really looking forward now to hear more from the different Asian countries that we have here today. But when it comes to alcohol, we know that alcohol is a massive obstacle to sustainable development. On the flip side, that means that the alcohol policy solutions, they are really powerful catalysts for sustainable development, for poverty eradication, for achieving gender equality, for achieving better environmental protection, for counteracting the climate crisis. So alcohol policy holds really vast and right now untapped potential for achieving development for all. And I think it's really about this development for all in the different Asian countries. So with this, looking forward, and back to you, Bolorma.
Thank you very much, Mike, for wonderful background information for all our presenters today and our other additional audiences. Okay, now I would like to invite our first speaker. Our first speaker was from India, but she requested to postpone her presentation because she requested. And now I would like to invite the second hour speaker from Sri Lanka. His presentation will be under sub-theme of alcohol control policy and relevant to the SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 5, gender equality. And the presenter's topic is alcohol policy implementation at the community level for quality education. Now I would like to invite our presenter Ravi Kandia from Foundation for Innovative Social Development from Sri Lanka.
Not sure if Ravi is here, Bulorma.
Ravi is not
I don't
here,
see
right?
Ravi.
Okay, then I would like to invite our next speaker. Cambodia is not here as well, right?
Yes, Kim Eng is not here either.
Okay, now I would like to invite our Thailand representative, Mr. Tira Vacharaprani. Sorry for pronouncing your name. And Mr. Tira is from Stop Drink Network Thailand and also one of the international board member of Movendi International. And his presentation will be on the subtheme of alcohol control policy and relevant to this SDG 1, no poverty, and the SDG 10, reduce inequalities. And the presentation topic title is the Thailand's alcohol control policy and crossroads challenges during the wave of social and political changes in the past decades in Thailand. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Tira.
Yeah, thank you and good evening, Moroma. Really nice to join you in the like the conference, the virtual conference. And good morning, Mike. Maybe you are in the morning time, late. Where are you, Mike?
I am in Slovakia, and you are right. It's in the morning here.
Okay, in Slovakia. Yes. Today in Thailand is a day off, but no problem. We are standby for this conference. So I would like to share the screen for a minute. Okay, you can see the big one. Okay. For the my topics, I would like to introduce my colleagues. Dan is my colleagues to join this conference too. Yes. Okay. So very important topics about the alcohol and sustainable development goals in the Asian countries. I think the one part of alcohol marketing directly to the Asian countries, especially in the ASEAN. We have the 10 countries in the ASEAN countries. It's like look like the new market of the alcohol marketing, especially in Vietnam, Laos, or Cambodia. In Thailand, we have the many experience before our countries, our neighboring countries. But in 10 years up to now, it is very, I can say that it is look like the time to decide about the alcohol policy in Thailand. That my topic is the cost loss of challenge during the wave of social and political change in Thailand. That is our topics, and this is linked to the SDG too. The first, I would like to show you about the alcohol prevalence and alcohol situation in Thailand. In comparing about 20 years ago, in the statistics show that the appearance of the population is quite stable. It's a little bit decreased, but above the line is like the adult, and the green line is like the youth. The specific unused age of 15 to 24. You can see that it's just not very, it's quite stable. When you see the alcohol per capita, I show you it's the same situation about 20 years ago, and when you compare by the year on 2008, the 2008 is start of the alcohol control law in Thailand. You can see the prediction line on the left above. This means that if we have not alcohol control law on 2008, alcohol pure liter pure alcohol per capita will be increased like this, like the red line. But when we have the law on 2008, we can make it stable in the blue one, in the blue line. This is really a good evidence for us to show that if we have the good policy about the law, it can be make the situation is good for Thai people. So next one is show you look back 50 years ago that I show you that about 20 years ago. But if you look back to 50 years ago, alcohol per capita in Thailand we have increased at the 3 times in the past. Is belong to the political situation or the economic growth. But until we have the Thai Health Promotion Foundation in 2001 and we have the alcohol control law, we can make it stable. You look at the alcohol attributable death about 5 years ago. In 2019, you can see that Thai people dead in each year, and the people dead related alcohol is about 1/4, and directly about 17,000 or 20,000 is dead from alcohol per year. This is look like the alcohol is one part of the factor about the Thai people to be suffer from the quality of life. This is statistics show you about it, and this is about the economic cost study from the alcohol consumption. In 2006 and 2021, they show that it's quite the same number for about 4,000 million US dollar or 5,000 million US dollar in 2006 and 2021. This is like the cost, economic cost, direct cost or the indirect cost. But compare with the revenues from the excise tax, we got about 4,000 billion US dollar. This is really easy to be compared about we loss of gains from the alcohol, loss from the economic cost, we gain from the revenue from the excise, but in fact we can say that this equal is lost about 7 billion US dollar per year. So this is the directly to analyze about the low-income housing or the poor people. In the red frame, you can say that this is the people who we have got the salary, got the income least 2,500 baht per month. But they lost this income for pay for the alcohol about 56%. So that is mean that in Thai people, really poor people is really like the poor people, poor family, you know, is so suffer from this alcohol. About the income or expenditure per month. And this is the Thai people, most of them we consume beer or domestic spirit. And this is the beer market share. In most of them is a domestic company. And we have that is the situation, and that is like the company or the marketing from the alcohol company. So what we have like the measure or like the policy to do something. There is a main law. We have the two policy from the excise tax law and from the alcohol beverage control law. From the excise law, we have the tax collection, we have the license to produce, we have the quality control from them and license to sell. And for the alcohol beverage control law, we have about the national policy mechanism. We have like the limit to advertisement. We have the control to sell about the promotion, a sale promotion, a price discount. And number 4, we have the sale to person underage. We have the underage 20. And number 5, we have that they did not sell around, that cannot sell on the Buddhist land for 5 days per year, and timing cannot sell. They can sell in the time allowed. And number 6 is like the place to sell and place to drink, and number 7 is like the form of sales. For example, like automatic vending machine, something like that, or online sell online, sell by online, something like that. And this is like the alcohol beverage control to protect our people. But this is not easy, because that I show you about the domestic company, they are fighting, they have many activity, use the like the actors, musics, brand, famous, something like that, to be encourage people to drink or to be honest to the company. This, for example, of they have like the activity marketing, and not only the big alcohol. Now we have the new brand from the local, very small producer. We have very new kind of the local brand coming now. That is really challenge us, because the small producer challenge our policy. This is the put the local brand in the demonstrate about the democracy, because the the local brand would like to be part of the market. But now in Thailand, we have the big company to be like the big butter. They would like to be the part of the marketing, the alcohol market. So that is the situation now. And they cooperate with the political parties. Now we have very popular political party. The picture is like the leader of the party, Move Forward Party, the name. Because of, look back in 9 years ago, Thailand under the government military. So people would like to be changed. And this party is like to give the hope to people and sell the idea should be changed, the government to change the life, something like that. And one factor is online and virtual community is really increased. And I think in the world is changed. So the behavior or the opportunity or attitude of people is changed for 10 years. The economics slow down after the COVID. This is a main factor, one main factor, and people need to change that, I say. So this is the policy from the Move Forward Party. They are the name of the liberalism wing, like the left wing in the political party. So this is the popular in the new generation, and this is have the opposite. They have like another political party against about this policy, but it cannot be. It cannot. But the liberalism in Thailand now is really popular. So this policy about talk about change the excise tax law. This is a 100 days policy to be achieved. So now Move Forward parties in the process to be set up the government. It's not now in Thailand we have not the government, but this is Move Forward Party is a part of the party to be correct the member of parliament and set up the government, but on the process. They would like to be achieved 100 days to be changed, the license to produce, to be, everybody can be produced, something like that, for promote the local income. And the big campaign they said to destroy the regulation that support the big alcohol, because big alcohol is a got opportunity to produce or to advertisement, something like that. But small producer would like to do that. And this is the one key message from them. And after that, they would like to change the alcohol control law. It's now on the process. You would like to be support a new company or to make equality, something like that. So this picture it shows you in the left side is from the people from the small group company to promote the liberal alcohol, something like that. They push the amendment, the law to the parliament in the left side, and the right side is a group to be prepare draft amendment the law. But we try to be approved is more strong. But in the left side, they would like to be reduce the measure to be weak. So now the draft of this is on the process, and I think this year is not. I don't know. Maybe this year is the learning about this. Maybe it's the next years. So the this is to be try to be analyzed about the negative impact if this policy is coming. For example, there will be increase the number of the producer, small producer. Is like the pressure to amend the alcohol control law after that. When they are like everybody can be produced in a house or in somewhere, and then the pressure to be changed the alcohol control law. The third one is about I think the responsible drinking or the policy about the alcohol is just the personal factor. It's not like the public factors is coming. Forced to be for the law, just only the personal, but not only the public. This is really big problem about it. And the fourth is about maybe I think the alcohol consumed in the future will be increased. And the last one, I would like to share you how to do something. And we are our colleagues in Thailand. We are talk together and prepare something more. But one we should be work with the WHO to be use the recommendation of the WHO is one part to be protect the good or the best policy in Thailand. The second one is about the academics information to be push it in the publics about the alcohol problem or about the alcohol consequence. The third one is we should have the new network and a new group like the victims group or the stakeholder other groups to be join us, not only stopping network, but we should more member to be join us. The fourth is about the political party. Another political party should be we should be talk to them and to be concerned about this. And the fifth is mean that we are like the international NGO network should be join together to support us. Yes, thank you to your attention. Yes, Varuma, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tira. A wonderful presentation you shared, and the Thailand experience is the one of the best practice in our Asian region, especially your health promotion foundation policy regulation and the financial resource for supporting regular advocacy in your country is very good example, role example for other countries. And now I would like to welcome any questions regarding your presentation from our audience. Any questions?
Mike, please.
Yes, hi Tira, and thanks Krop Kun Krab for this excellent presentation and the important work that you have done. I have some specific questions because I think you are showing really important data, and I would like to ask about the studies, but I can follow up in an email and ask. So now I just wanted to ask you, thanks for sharing what the alcohol industry or the pro-alcohol side is claiming, like focusing on the individual harm and focusing on the economy and so on. I think this is really important to share because this is similar across the country. And I'm very happy also that you share how Stop Drink Network is working. And I just wanted to ask, so you had this picture on the left side, the pro-alcohol campaign, and on the right side, the Stop Drink Network. And I think you have many more signatures or many more supporters, like more than 100,000, and they had like 30,000 or so. Yeah, you can show the picture again. Yeah, 11,000 and 100,000, if I understand it correctly, because it's in Thai. So I wanted to ask you, how is the community responding to this? Is it the case that the people are concerned about normalizing more alcohol, and it's only this party and the economic interests that are supporting the worsening of the alcohol law? So can you talk about this, the social movement dimension? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. That is very important point, because when we compare the number of the people to be support the draft of the amendment law from the promote group, the promote alcohol group is a little bit like about 10,000, but we have 100,000 to be support our law. In the left side, they are like the new generation. They are like very, how can I say, they're very familiar about the online movement. So they really for movement, the online movement, we cannot win because our people who support us is from the local in the community, like the 2.0 generation, and for them is like the five generation. So that is really different. So when the movement really how can I say, that is look like the media is focusing them, but for us, we are support the victim group. We support the family who we got the problem from the alcohol and something like that. So that is the like when we analyze by weakness or by strengthen, they are small one, but they have like a strong online movement. We have the big one, but we are movement on the offline movement. So something like that. But for us, we try to be have the new generation to take side of us. For example, we have the new group, the new young group to be talking about the alcohol problem. But not me, not like me, because if I just I talking to the press conference or to the media, because I am stopping network, I talk about that. But people like think about, oh, okay, you are stopping network, you talk about this, but it's not interesting about it. So this is the situation. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much, Tira. Wonderful answer and wonderful discussion. Any other questions from our audience? Okay, Sampath, do you have some questions? No? Okay, then let's move next our speaker. Now I'd like to invite our first speaker from India, Dr. Tina Rawal. I would like to invite from India. Her presentation topic is alcohol exposure in Bollywood movies in India, and this is the under theme alcohol control policy and relevant to the SDG 1 and SDG 10. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and apologies for joining a little late because there was some really urgency at the ministry level, so that's why I got late. Hello, Mac, good to see you. We'll just start the presentation. And first of all, thank you very much for giving this opportunity and sharing our study, what we have done recently. And still the analysis is going on, but I think I would be happy to share some of the preliminary results through this session. So as you rightly mentioned, that the alcohol exposure in Bollywood movies, like as a part of the social dimension, and as the requisite, there is a need for focusing on how alcohol and if I can just switch off my video, I think there is some lag in the video, if I'm not wrong. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yes, this is recording your every.
There is a lag from my end. I'm not able to hear. Hello.
We can hear you very well. Hello, Tina.
Now you're on mute, Tina.
Is it better? Yeah.
Yeah, now we can hear you very well.
Yes. Just a sec. I think I'll just rejoin if that is okay. Just in 2 minutes. I'll just
Sure,
do it.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. No worries.
Can I use the time until Tina joins to talk a little bit more with Tira? Tira, I can tell you that Movendi International, we are bringing young people to GAPSI. Several young people from different parts of the world. And now that you talked about this need for a youth movement or stronger youth voices for alcohol prevention in Thailand, maybe we can pick this up. I don't know if you are bringing young people from Thailand, but I will send you an email also. I think that can be really powerful to connect people, young people from Sri Lanka and Sweden and Africa to support your young people. And maybe Movendi International, we can develop a specific program to support young people for alcohol policy advocacy, really based on what Sampath and Tena, Danujita, and also you guys in Sri Lanka know. So I just wanted to tell you, you like it, Tira, I see. So I'll follow up and we can discuss it more. Back to you, Bolorma, and welcome back, Tina.
Thank you so much, Mike. I think there is some change in the network, so that's why it got little this. Okay, I hope my slides are visible.
Yes.
Great. I just saw Sampath. Hi, Sampath. Just wanted to say, yeah. Okay, so just to start, I'm so sorry. Alcohol adversely impacts, and we all know the 13 of 17 SDGs and the 52 targets, and effectively intersecting all 3 dimensions of 2030 agenda, including economic, social, and environment. And it has a direct impact on many health-related targets within the SDGs, including those on maternal, child health, infectious disease, including mental health and road injuries. So coming on to the dimension, the social dimension aspect of alcohol. So we have conducted this recently just to see the exposure of alcohol in Bollywood movies. As we all know, in terms of the prevalence, there is a consumption, in developing countries like India, alcohol consumption tend to be a major problem because of the various sociocultural practices across the nation, different alcohol policies, practices across various states, and lack of awareness of alcohol-related problems among community. There is a false mass media propaganda around alcohol use, various alcohol drinking patterns among the alcohol consumers, and emergence of social drinking as a habit because of the widespread urbanization across the country. As the slide shows, the consumption of alcohol is more in the rural population in India than the urban. And as per the Global Status Report on Alcohol and Health shows that India has the highest, the second highest alcohol per capita consumption among all the countries in the Southeast Asia region, And at the national level, there is like a 19% of the current user consume alcohol. That is like in the dependent pattern. In terms of exposure of alcohol in the Hollywood movies, we all know, we all know there are studies have shown that there is a longitudinal studies that have confirmed the issue of problematic drinking among young people is higher with a higher exposure of alcohol in Hollywood movies, media, with the dose-response relationship, which have been showing in other studies which has been conducted internationally also. And alcohol initiation is associated with various like individual environmental factors. Studies have also assessed the role of media, especially movies, influencing individual choices to consume alcohol, especially during adolescence. And there is a need for stringent policies across various states to reduce the alcohol consumption. In terms of giving an introduction and an overview of the Bollywood industry and its reach, so India accounts for nearly 27% of the global film production by volume. India is the world's largest producer of movies, and Bollywood represents the Hindi movie industries. There are like 188 million Indian viewers and several others in nations of different like regions. It's not only specific to Asia, but other regions as well. And the Bollywood stars are really very popular in India and act as role models for young people, especially the adolescent age group. In terms of giving an overview about the certification of the movie in India, so it's mainly commonly like in India certified as a U, which are unrestricted exhibitions. UA, which includes unrestricted exhibition subject to parental guidance. So if there is an indication for UA, then it needs a guidance for that particular movie. Then A includes restriction to the only for the adult audience, and S for the restricted specialized audience such as doctors or scientists if it is specific to those target audience. Earlier, we have done just a very small study, including 59 Bollywood movies, where we have seen the association between exposure of alcohol in Bollywood movies and ever use among Indian adolescents. So this is the study which we have conducted in 2012, which have shown that the exposure of alcohol use was about 6 times higher as compared to the tobacco use exposure. And when the demographic variables, like including social influences, characteristics of child parenting, were adjusted, the odds of ever alcohol use, those in high as compared to the exposure. Exposure were really, really high. When there are some students who have failed to respond to one or more movie questions were removed from the analysis, even though then the results were showing a significant usage of alcohol and influencing their behavior. In this current study, what we are doing and trying to analyze is to assess the incidence of alcohol use in Bollywood movies from the year 2006 and 2017. So it's a trend analysis what we are trying to see and looking at the alcohol exposure in these Bollywood movies. And alcohol incidents were coded in top 240 top grossing Bollywood movies using the Breathe California methods, and trends in number of alcohol incidents per movie were studied. Then there were 45 films were out of, as per the categories, 45 films were U rated, 162 were UA rated, and 33 were A rated. And the data source included all the movies, but there are 5 films which we were not able to analyze because of the unavailability of the CDs and the films at this point of time. The statistical analysis, what we have used to see the trend, have shown that most of the movies that, as you just seen in the table, the occurrence for alcohol imagery in Bollywood movies as per the categories. So U certified films can be watched by, that includes, as you remember, that it can be watched by all the audiences, and the data reveals distinct pattern in portrayal of alcohol instances based on different movie rating. Movies rated U exhibit the highest prevalence of 1 to 20 occurrence at 57.8%, followed by movies which are rated A with 48%, and movies rated UA at 45.7%. However, in contrast, movies rated UA display the highest proportion of 20 to 40 occurrences at 25.3%, which is like followed closely by movies rated, which are rated A with 30%. These findings provide a valuable insight that there is a relationship between movie rating and portrayal of alcohol content. There is a further analysis which we are trying to do is like to looking at the comprehensive analysis of alcohol imagery occurrences in Bollywood movies. The study reveals this trend in the portrayal of alcohol in the use of movies, and movies released between 2013 and 14 were prominently featured 1 to 20 alcohol occurrences, and the prevalence is like showing 65%. Similarly, in the year of 2016 to 2017, significant proportion of movies depicting 1 to 20 alcohol instances, and 60 and 55 respectively, as the table has been indicating. The study provides, again, the evolving pattern that the alcohol depiction in the Bollywood movies potentially reflecting the changes in the societal attitude, the trends over the examined period. When we have compared the tobacco incidences over this period of time, like from 2006 to 2017, the tobacco incidents and alcohol occurrences in movies, there is a striking finding emerges, which have shown that alcohol imagery was high in movies as compared to tobacco imagery throughout the year in 2006 to 2000 till the time of 2017, which was similar to the trend which we have shown, I think, in the limited number of movies in 54 that has been mentioned in the earlier slide. In terms of the further analysis and looking at the trend, the number of top grossing movies which are ranged from 13 in 2016, 2006 and 25 in 2009. Out of 240 films in this from 2006 to 2016, all adult rated films containing alcohol use incidents. However, in 2011, approximately 88% of adult rated films, including alcohol imagery, and 2017, there were no adult rated films with alcohol incidents. The mean number of alcohol incidents in all youth rated films was highest in 2009, followed by 2007, then 2011 and 2010. Similarly, the mean number of alcohol incidents in all adult rated films was highest in 2008, followed by 2006 and 11. There is no consistent pattern, though, in the incidence of alcohol imagery in both U-rated and adult-rated over the this movies over the studied period. However, the data indicate there is a generally high presence of alcohol-rich content in these films throughout the analyzed period. In conclusion, there is a need for a stringent regulations, and Bollywood movies, like there's a much deliverable of like maybe in terms of delivering high alcohol impressions as compared to the movies from the West, which may lead to increased alcohol use, especially among youth. There is a need to enforce a comprehensive ban on alcohol use and depiction, especially in the movies and the different media platforms. There is a need for sensitization for the actors and actresses to refrain from alcohol use in the movies and promote their participation in alcohol control campaigns. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thank you very much, Tina, for wonderful presentation and sharing your recent research findings. Now, I would like to welcome questions regarding this wonderful presentation. Please, Mike.
Thanks, Bolorma. Thanks, Tina. I agree with Bolorma. Excellent work and excellent presentation. The conclusion slide is very interesting, and you already greeted Sampath. So when you had this point there about increasing the sensitization, I would like to call it holding the actors accountable. I wanted to ask if RIDAI has been doing anything with this since you conducted the study, since you have these findings. I think they are really stark findings compared to tobacco. Are young people reaching out to actors and Bollywood production companies, or have you done anything on this kind of accountability and sensitizing? Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. I think very valid question, and there is I think concerns about the accountability for the actors for doing such advertisement and promoting alcohol. So as I mentioned, these are the preliminary results, and we are doing the analysis. And based on these results, we are planning to do some of the advocacy around alcohol control activities, especially around and focusing with adolescents and including them as a part of the campaigns where we are writing letters where we can just make sure that, I mean, rather than focusing on advertising or promoting such advertisement, they should be focused on little more health promoting messages, which would be a little more helpful and as a role model will be a motivating factor for adolescent and youth and younger people. So as you just rightly mentioned, we are in that direction and the path and planning to use these results for our advocacy purposes. Yes.
Thank you very much, Tina. Any other questions? No?
Can I ask?
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Tina. That's very interesting for your Bollywood, because some of the film of Bollywood is show in Thailand too. That you conclude the last slide that you said about the second one, the need to enforce the comprehensive brand.
Yeah.
Now is have like the decoration on, is not have this?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think there are certain rules which says that maybe they can indicate if there is an alcohol use in the movie or a scene, they can just mention that it's that alcohol use is harmful for health. But I think as we have moved ahead in terms of the tobacco exposure, like in the Bollywood movies, and using a code on the laws in India, so therefore there has to be a similar bans which can be there for alcohol as well. So that's what we are trying to say. There has to be not only on the movies, but we are trying to look at the streaming platforms as well because of the increasing demand and exposure for the young people. So which includes both streaming platforms plus movies, but the analysis is still going on. So once we have the results available, then we'll be working on those directions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tina. Any other questions? No? Okay, I have a question. It is also very interesting research and also one of my research area as well. And you did very good content analysis, and I am really curious to know, like, when I saw your slides, it's very long-term movie analysis, and really wondering, like, how many movies, how long period, how many researchers was conducted this kind of research? Thank you.
It's a huge, I think, task. And thank you so much for your question, because I think we have initiated this an analysis, I think, and implementation of this study in parts. So initially we have done 59 more Bollywood movies. Then looking at, again, recently we have conducted with the support of WHO on these movies and looking at the exposure. So I think we have seen 240 movies, and there were coders involved who were trained using the Speed California method. So 12 coders were involved in coding these movies, and because there has to be, and we all have seen these movies and streaming platforms in office, out of office, everywhere, and at that point of time everybody was watching only films and streaming platforms. So those were the selection of the movies, and the streaming platform were based on the perception of adolescents, that what are the famous, like, what they are watching, especially on their streaming platforms. So those were the so those were conducted especially for the streaming platform. But for the Bollywood movies, yes, it depends on the box office, like, collection. So how these movies are I think famous, and in terms of their box office collections, which is there on the public domain, which is available, and training of the coders. Then we have conducted the reliability of the coder also, that what they are doing is consistent with the other coders as well. So it's a long-term process. You have correctly just mentioned and indicated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tina, for this wonderful research. And also, of course, that, for example, in Australia, they have media control legislation and regulation about alcohol-related promotion through media channels. And how about in India? And of course, you are doing some advocacy actions after this analysis, of course, and that is really interesting. Like, how about in India? Do you have some special regulation and the policy to controlling media promotion of alcohol products?
That's what we are trying to do with this results, so that there should be a stringent evidence, especially for the Bollywood movies, like how the alcohol exposures are impacting the usage among adolescents and young people. So that's in the process right now. And there are no stringent rules as such, like monitoring of alcohol use among Bollywood movies. But I think that's what the efforts we are moving towards in. But there are certain initial regulations which says if there is an alcohol use, then there has to be a messaging which says that it's an harmful alcohol use is harmful for health. So those are the initial messaging is there while showcasing alcohol use in Bollywood movies. But for the streaming platform, there is no such regulations, especially in India. So that's what we are trying to just advocate for and using these results for.
Thank you very much, Tina. Now I would like to shift our speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very wonderful research finding. Thank you. I would like to wish you very good luck for your advocacy action to improve regulation on this issue. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Ravi Kandya from Foundation for Innovative Social Development, Sri Lanka. The presentation title is Alcohol Policy Implementation at the Community Level for Quality Education. Ravi, are you there?
I don't see that anyone from the FISD in Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Okay, then how about Cambodia? Yong Kim, are you there?
Yes, I am here, but I
okay,
try to join I try to join the Zoom through computer.
Okay, thank you very
sorry,
much.
Just wait just a moment.
Okay, okay, then let me shift next our speaker. I would like to invite Amaranath Tenna, Director of a program on alcohol and Drug Information Center from EDIC, Sri Lanka. The title of the presentation is Empowering Sri Lanka's Youth to Promote Responsible Alcohol Taxation for National Development, and which is the under sub-theme of our conference, Alcohol Control Policy and relevant to the SDG 1 and SDG 10.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tanujit Sadusha from Sri Lanka. I'm 23 years old and I'm a student and also undergraduate. I am from Youth Action Network, YAN Sri Lanka. Youth Action Network, YAN Sri Lanka, the youth wing of ADI, Alcohol and Drug Information Center, I started my volunteering journey from YAN. I have been volunteering here for more than 5 years. So I started YAN journey as a member in 2021. So after that, I promoted as a resource pool member, and in this year, I'm the secretary of Youth Action Network in Sri Lanka. So I will be presenting to you about our initiative on empowering Sri Lanka's youth to promote responsible evidence-based alcohol taxation for national development. So first of all, I would like to tell the background of our work. So since since March 2022, Sri Lanka has been facing an economic and political crisis posed by a combination of factors. So Easter bomb attacks and the COVID-19 pandemic also contributed to the intensity of the issues. So there were a drastic pricing increase of essential goods due to inflation, creating great hardships among the citizens. Yet the alcohol prices were not increased accordingly. So this is, I think, our background for this work. So mainly this objective. So advocating for alcohol tax increase was felt as timely need to address the economic issues and the burden on the citizens. So the objective of this initiative was to drive a significant alcohol tax increase as revenue generation to the government and reduce tax on essential items. So, the work's methodology we did as the organization team, as the organization team, the director of YAN discussed the issue and decided to conduct a protest demanding a tax hike for alcohol and reduce tax on essential goods. So next, the organizing team discussed with the district YAN members and made them aware of this issue. So Youth Action Network, YAN, organized the campaign island-wide with the participation of youth volunteers. Especially, I want to mention youth volunteers before the interim budget proposal. So, impactful silent protests were conducted in 15 major towns across Sri Lanka on August 2021. So, focusing on the government budget proposal. So demonstrators creatively used self-written protest boards in both Sinhala and Tamil languages to convey their message to the public. So these are the photos of our campaign. This I want to mention this all our volunteers in our network, all our youths, all our volunteers. They do their works for our societies because they know the issues in our volunteer. I have to say that our volunteer network, our YAN Sri Lanka, our organization, our youths know and see the current situations every times, so they don't fear for anyone, anything, and so do the correct thing. So at all times. So these are the photos of our campaigns and our works. You can see this. These are the photos, not only boys, not only girls. They all are seeing these problems and do works as volunteering. Yeah, the main thing is all our volunteers, our networks, island-wide broad network. Yeah, massive networks. These are the photos. Yeah, previous I mentioned we did 15 major cities in Sri Lanka. We covered all our land. You can see this map. 15 major cities, 15 town campaigns. It means 15 town campaigns we did. Happy to see and happy to say that. So I want to see something. I want to show that because this videos is this videos is from our youth. They are because they are.
ඉතින් ගොඩාක් අත්‍යවශ්‍ය සේවාවන් ද්‍රව්‍ය වල මිල ඉතාමත් වැඩි වෙලා තියෙන මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවක උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් එimhe ඩීසල් පෙට්‍රල් වගේ දේවල් වල මිල 100 250 කින් 100 300 ඉක්මවා යන මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවක සිගරට් එක එහෙම නැත්නම් දුම් වීඩියෝ මිල වැඩිලා තියෙන 100.
And another one can say this.
ආසිකුලනේ අපි පැටවුන් අඬනවා බඩගින්දරේ උන්ගේ මහබර කරේ අරගෙන පෑගුවේ පුට ගත්තේ අපේ උන් බැරිම තැනකයි හාමතේ මතිත තව උඹ කඳුළු දුන්නා ගිලෙන අන්තිම තප්පරේ.
Yeah, it's a different language, so this is a hard touch one because they works as volunteer and they are real youths, you know. After that, I'm going to the media contribution of our work and also our campaign. Yeah, I want to you can show this the radios and also.
දුම්වැටි වලට ඇති ආකර්ෂණය අඩු කිරීමේ අරමුණින්
So is that and after that media channels, these are the most famous channels in Sri Lanka. We did it as volunteering. Yeah. After that, the results, the main thing, you know, the results is the campaign directly reached around 30,000 individuals with the coverage received by traditional and social media. The message further reached around 800,000 individuals. Our efforts have been a positive contribution towards the alcohol tax increased by 4% at the end of the year 2022. That's a happy thing to say for you and deliver for you. Finally, youth. Youth engagement is highly effective in creating positive change within communities and within the country in terms of alcohol prevention. So thank you very much for your attention because youth and also volunteers. So, and I am grateful for providing me with this valuable opportunity to present our successful initiative because this is a good opportunity because you know we work for only Sri Lanka, so this is the good opportunity to share our experience and present to world. So it's very happy to me and all our organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tenna. Very wonderful initiative by young volunteers in Sri Lanka. It's a very good experience and also so happy to see your advocacy achievement reaching increase in the taxation in your country. And now I would like to welcome our audience questions for Tenna. Any questions? Mike, please.
Thanks, Bolorma, and thank you very much, Danujita. Big congrats to this impressive work, to you, Jan, and of course, Edik. I will have many questions, Danujita. We know each other a little bit, so you know I'm always asking lots of questions. But I think this is really impressive how a youth network has covered the whole of a country, in your case, Sri Lanka, with a specific alcohol policy conversation, alcohol taxation. And I wanted to ask you if you can share with our group here, I mean, why do young people in Sri Lanka care about alcohol taxation? How much did you need to work to convince them or to train them on campaigning for alcohol taxation? Was that difficult? Is this a difficult issue? Or do young people in Sri Lanka actually really like it and are really excited about talking alcohol taxes? I hope I'm asking a clear question, Danujita. Over to you.
So I think the securities our organization is happiness, and also we did with everything did with happiness, and also because you know everyone volunteers. And after that, I want to say our organization is island-wide spread. Our countries, 25 districts and 9 provinces have. So every 9 province and every 25 districts members we have.
if we won't work with Northern Province, we have directors and members. If we won't work with Southern Province, we have directors, because this our network is most popular and most active organization in Sri Lanka. So we started in 2019, and after that, year by year, we change our members. And after that, they have new ideas, they have new innovation, ideas. So every time they updated their knowledge about alcohol and not only for alcohol. I want to mention alcohol, tobacco, other drugs, everything. Mainly, the currently the in country and world issue is the alcohol problem. So because smoking tobacco is a little bit risky, but alcohol is very increased. So so that's why every time and every day our volunteers updated, and they have massive knowledge about the alcohol knowledge, alcohol taxes knowledge. That's why we push to that. That's why I push to our government, because sometimes our government has no proper things. So we every time as a youth, as a volunteer, as a Sri Lankan, boy girl, we did with volunteering services is our all volunteers is passion. I think the main thing, happiness. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tenna. I have a question. I'm very curious to know, because you achieved a very good result, like to legalize, to increase taxation. That is very difficult advocacy. It requires long term, and it requires a lot of collaboration. It's needed. And how long you did this advocacy? What type of organizations you collaborated to achieve these legal changes? Thank you.
Yeah, in the last year, we did with only our organization, because Yan Sri Lanka network only we did with our network. It's mean after that we did in August 22, 1 day silent protest in all district, in our all district means 15 main district in our world, in our country. So I think it's very pressure for government, because everyone are youth, everyone are, youth is the power of nation. I think after that, it's a very, I think it was very massive pressure for government. So it's bad. It's sad, because our government is everyone. Our government ministers are very grand, grandfathers and grandmothers like that, like its age. So not all youth members in our government parliament. So that's why we pushed. The main thing is our pushers are very. Pushers is the thing to government, parliament also. I think it's increased 4% for increase the alcohol tax in last year.
Thank you very much. It is really amazing, and also interesting to know that, because young people's movement is very strong, and it seems like very short period of time, your team is increased. Your team is achieved your goal to change the taxation law. That is really powerful, and it's really amazing story. Thank you very much. It is really good story, and a really good role example for other countries. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, please, Tira.
Thank you, Danija, that you present. And I got this challenging from the last year, when Sampath and Kubudu came to Thailand and talking about the pricing of the alcohol in Sri Lanka is not increased compared with another food is increased from the situation, but alcohol, the pricing alcohol is stable.
Little bit the tax. Yeah.
Yes, but today very happy that you present about what happened for addicts and try to be moved about this policy. And my question is, do you prefer about a 4% increase? Sorry? Do you prefer about the pricing of alcohol increase about the 4%?
It was last year.
It was last year. We trying to.
Can I interrupt? මෙතන අහන්නේ දනුජිත් 104ක් වැඩි වෙච්ච එකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙච්ච එක කියලා.
No. No, we more than 4% because it's I think the last year we have pushes for government and parliament. It's 4% is not enough for us. We fight for them and we fight for correct things. I think as a youth in Sri Lanka, 4% is not enough for us.
You are right. 4% is nothing. It's nothing for changes for prices. It's really just symbolic increase. And again, it's a lot of things. Of course, behind it, lot of restraint, lot of challenges you have. But please continue to do advocacy for these issues. Thank you. And now I would like to invite our speaker. Next, our speaker from Cambodia, Mr. Yong Kim In from PDP Center Cambodia. And the presentation title is Local Alcohol Control Policy Advocacy, representing from Cambodia. And this presentation is under sub-theme of alcohol control policy and relevant to the SDG 1, no poverty, and SDG 10, reduce inequalities. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see the presentation.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to present about the local alcohol policy advocacy. The point for presentation, I will preach about like introduction and about the what the local regulation focus on, and then about how it changed after that, and then the collaboration with the ministry, and we influence the political party, and also focus on the we also mobilize people to support on alcohol taxation as well. So Cambodia, we have 25 province, 203 district municipality, and 1,352 commune. But 155 commune have local alcohol regulation. We call DECA in Cambodia. And in Cambodia, for the alcohol tax for beer is 30%, and for the spirit is 35%. So it's different, but not in Thailand. Thailand, they define the same. Cambodia, according to the current research, then the alcohol consumption per capita is 21% liter, ranked number 36 in the world, and number 3 in ASEAN. How to hold a commune council accountable for the alcohol issue, that we have we explore the evidence base from the community. We don't focus like the academic research that the people, they don't really understand about the issue, but we try to explore the problem that happen in the commune, that everyone knows, around the alcohol, then we raise that to influence them. And from WHO, especially the Harris, because Harris, they can accept people, they can accept because it very fit with their situation. The knowledge we provide to the community network about the danger of alcohol, the community leadership to we train them around that, and advocacy plan about talking point, and the leadership we strengthen the women youth network leadership to be more strong and to be more active, especially from women and youth. And we have like the DECA, we focus on 3 points mainly: the drinking age, restrict on alcohol advertisement, sale and consumption of the alcoholic beverage. But drinking age, it vary from commune to commune, and advertisement they ban during the like inside the school or pagoda or health center or commune office, and the sell they not allow selling alcohol in the pagoda, government office or school or health center. Before they have inside that, but after that don't have. And shall not sell alcohol to underage or pregnant women. This the regulation, the local regulation, very democratic way that the people can participate from the beginning until the end, and they can give the input. Most of regulation, most of article in the regulation from the people idea, and this like the consultation after they have the draft of local regulation, and then the community people they come to the consultation workshop, and then they also raise their hand to approve article by article. This is very impressive, I think. And then the commune they will officially adopt after this. This is our process to develop the commune alcohol regulation. We have 7 steps. And PDP, we also collaborate with Ministry of Interior to produce the technical document that they can share to all communes throughout the country. But we use this textbook, also use the practice experience and the process of local regulation development from PDP, and we include all of things in this textbook. And then we are not so much challenge to have the local regulation after we have this textbook in 2017. PDP, we also influence the political party to sign on the this for the commune, the political party that run for the commune election. We also ask them to sign and to promise to develop local alcohol regulation if they won the election in any commune. And in 2000, we have 10 political parties signed that. And in 2023, the election, we have 11 political parties also signed to increase alcohol taxation. So that the election just finished by July 23. And then we also held a campaign throughout the country to collect 10,000 signature from people. So now we have more than 7,000 to support the alcohol taxation. We also have coalition building, but we don't. It doesn't matter that the organization are working in different sector, but we try to link with the issues like with environment, with development and democracy. For example, during the election, because the political conflict also happened during the election as well. So we also try to link and invite them to join us. Also, human rights also the same. And alcohol also banned during the 1 day before election and election day. And if we look at what different or the people participation in the policy at the local level, fully this participation from people, but national level less participation from people, and then it more effective at the local level, but national level less effective because people they don't know what thing that happen at the national. But we have national level, we have the draft law on alcohol control, but it pending from 2020 2015 until now, not passed by the parliament yet. After the alcohol consumption reduce, then people they also have a good health, and then they also can have a job or increase their family income. According to our final assessment, also found the same thing that in general alcohol consumption decrease according to the improved level of understanding, and we see the decrease is 3% in all our target area. The challenge, we also have the challenge, especially the alcohol industry, also influence the policy, influence the government, and they have very strong connection with the government, the policy maker, and limit access to that information because they put together like beverage. So we cannot separate which one that from alcohol. So it's very difficult that like something that they try to make everyone confused. And lack of nationwide data or research for advocacy, especially for national advocacy. The lesson learned, I think that when the people that they participate the whole process, then the policy decision making, they have ownership and implement also effective, and people they also like have voice throughout the process or the policy, and then the democracy at the local level also happen, and then alcohol consumption also reduced, and domestic violence is also reduced. Women and youth, we can see that when the alcohol consumption reduced, women and youth are active in decision making. Yes, thank you very much. I have just brief.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yong Kim, and it's a very wonderful, also positive, good examples from Cambodia. That is really amazing. Like you shared a lot of good examples. For example, it seems you used the coalition building example, engaging local community mobilization to conduct advocacy. That is really amazing. And also your advocacy also try to reach different levels of leadership. And also, for example, you conducted advocacy for political parties. That is also very good example. And also working closely with local and central government through this coalition process and also activities. And also one amazing story is you shared, like it seems you developed your organization like tools, or is it like regulation, or is it guideline for local government to implement? What is it called? For example, yeah, that is, yeah, it's really interesting. What is it? Thank you.
Yes, this means that they we also develop this together with Ministry of Interior. This we show all the steps to develop the local regulation, local alcohol regulation, about the process, mainly focus on the process. And then like we have some table that the commune, they can collect the data, the evidence base. We develop like a very simple form that they can discuss, they can discuss in the commune, and they can put some data and mapping about like the violence that happen by alcohol in the community. This around that. Then we also have some example that we have the local regulation in different province about like the drinking age, about like the advertisement ban, and also like the sell or alcohol in the community. We also have the example from the other commune or sankat and put in the textbook that the new commune, they can learn from that.
Wow, that is really amazing story that other countries can be followed, that because, you know, the central government, centralized national alcohol policy advocacy is very difficult. And then you conducted one of broad example advocacy to reach like local government level advocacy. That is really shortcut to introduce very strong regulation. And that is really a very good example for other Asian countries. I think other countries need to learn from your organization advocacy stories, and that is really a wonderful story. Thank you very much. Any questions from our audience? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I stop here now.
Yeah, welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Bolorma, and hi, Kim Eng. Thanks for a great presentation and fantastic work. I agree with everything that Bolorma has said here. I have two questions. I can start with the first one. So, Kim Eng, the elections are over, and you have reached 11 parties, political parties in this election campaign, who have said they support alcohol taxation. Can you explain for all of us who don't know the politics in Cambodia so well, what does it mean? Are these all opposition parties now? Are these some of the parties that will be in government? So is an alcohol tax increase likely now? What does it mean? How many parties are there? Is 11 a lot or a little? This is my first question. Thanks, Kim Eng.
Thank you very much, Mike. We have 18 political parties, but 11 they signed, and one of them that signed the promise, he also have 5 seats in the parliament, but not enough. But the other, they don't have the seat in the parliament. But the opposition party, the main opposition party, was excluded from the election. The candlelight party. Yes, so that the potential one that the people expect to win more seats in the parliament, but actually they was excluded from the election. So when this advocacy is very important, that we can make the media interest, and they cover the event, and then they continue to cover almost like they continue to write the article about the event almost 2 weeks. So I think that people, they know a lot about that, and the political party decision maker, they also have more thing about that, because we also have we play a very important role with media before the event happen, and during the event, and after that. So the media keep write about the event. So this is very important, that from the media. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Kim Eng. So,
sorry.
Yeah, I have one more. I kept my hand up. Thanks, Kim Eng. So now you have one member of parliament who can support the alcohol taxation agenda after the election. I think that's good news. And I have another question, like Bolorma said, about the local community work that you are doing. There is this information that when alcohol use goes down, alcohol harm goes down, especially violence against women. And then you said when violence against women goes down, women become more engaged in local decision making, which I think is a really important finding, or a really important effect of your work, because it really connects to the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, that, yeah, we reduce alcohol harm, and that benefits gender equality, that benefits local democracy. And I wanted to ask you on this, Kim Eng, do you have, like you presented as a finding, as a result of your work, do you have stories from women that we could involve, so to say, that can talk about exactly this dimension, that violence came down because alcohol consumption came down, and now they are more engaged? Do you have these women who would like to tell their story? Thank you.
Yeah, we have a lot of story, and we write a lot of success story about that, and then we also send to IOGT and TO, and usually it very interesting during the discussion, that women, they want to increase the high fine, and men, they want to lower fine, because men, they drink a lot, so they don't want the commune councillor fine them like much money. So this very interesting in the discussion, and very hot topic in the discussion. So, but women, they are brave to stand up, and they protect their idea, and then they challenge with the men to keep like the high fine like that. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions to Young Kim Eng?
Yeah, thank you.
May I not like the question, but I would like to talking about when last year I
You can see.
Yeah, I visit the way of PDP to encourage people to be joyous and develop the DICA or the regulation in the local regulation. That's very fantastic for the people to, because in the national policy in Cambodia is cannot be is stuck on the process, that because Kim Eng said that, then Kim Eng back to the local and develop the local policy and try to make it happen and push it in the national level, something like that. So now I think you have the new government, not the father, but the son of the Ministry of the Cambodia. What do you think about the new Prime Minister?
The new Prime Minister will be on October 22nd. August 22nd this year. But I don't hope the national alcohol policy will be happen.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Cambodia. Cambodia's really good example and also lessons learned, stories shared for other countries. Thank you very much. Now, if there is any, not any questions, let's move next. Our speaker is from Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka, right?
I think the next speaker is you, Bolorma, and then we can wrap up.
Ravi
is not here. I don't think
okay.
He's joining.
Ravi is not here, right? No.
Yeah.
Okay, then let me share my presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I would like to share about Mongolia information, a little bit about background information, and through also I will try to share that how alcohol consumption in my country and how alcohol accessibility in tax policies in my country, and also how our SDGs is progressing in my country. And Mongolia's population very tiny comparing to other Asian countries. We are only 3.7 million population we have, and we are landlocked country between China and Russia. And the population we are quite. Excuse me.
Your presentation is not happening. Not sure. Yes.
Oh, really? Now
this is
only agenda.
Now you can see.
No.
No.
It should be
only agenda.
You are sharing your Word document, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me share mine. Sorry.
Exactly. Very good.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. I already shared it. My Mongolian population is quite young. Comparing to that from population pyramid, you can see that comparing to 2000 in 2020, our population is, especially that working age young population is quite increasing, and that is economically good sign. And but the life expectancy is a bit interesting finding, like especially that men and women, that the age gap for life expectancy is very huge, almost 9 years difference. And because, behind it is men's risky behavior, including alcohol, tobacco consumption. And therefore that we really need to contribute for alcohol control issues in my country. And main cause of morbidity and mortality also, it is really shows now how alcohol and alcohol consumption influencing for this population morbidity and mortality. And you can see last 10 years, like majority of morbidity leading causes is you can see that digestive system, genitourinary system, circulatory system, cardiovascular disease, plus injuries and poisoning, and all these morbidities related to alcohol consumption, and also leading causes of population mortalities. Also, that leading major causes is cancer, cardiovascular disease, and all these issues is relevant to alcohol consumption. And you can see that last several decades, since 1990 until 2019, the share of population with alcohol use disorders is increased almost 4.4%. That is the huge alcohol consumption increase, because since 1990, before 1990, during this until 1990, we had 70 years socialist period of time, and since 1990 we had economic transition, and therefore that open market, the economic situation is changed, and the political economic situation changes. Then people's that health related that risky behaviors increased, alcohol consumption increased much, and a lot of socioeconomic factors influencing behind these issues. And from this global age standardized alcohol attributed malignant neoplasm disability, just life years lost by 2016. You can see this, the Mongolia is also one of the highest prevalent country for this alcohol consumption negative consequences. And also global age standardized alcohol attributable malignant neoplasm mortality rates by 2016. Also, Mongolia is ranked also one of the highest country. And the number of deaths by risk factors, alcohol is the fourth risk factor for contributing for the mortality of the general population. And last several years in Mongolia, that nationwide level by WHO supports to conduct non-communicable disease risk factor nationwide research. And within this research findings, it shows like the drinking issues is not really decreasing since 2013, and also that standard drink size per occasion is also not decreasing, it is increasing, the opposite. And in Mongolia also that accessibility of alcohol products is sharply increased since 1990. Therefore, that alcohol consumption increased. Mongolia is the one of the easy access alcohol products with cheap prices in Mongolia. Therefore, young people's alcohol consumption is increasing year by year. And here you can see that how that alcohol selling points per 100,000 population, like in capital city, like 103, and province level 52, and national average is 76. It is very easy access, creates for young people and poor people to access very cheap alcohol products in everywhere, every corner. And it influences for the consumption directly. And here you can see that percent of excise tax in the final retail prices that Mongolia, how it is comparing to global level, that the beer is 6.6%, but global level is 22%. And wine is like global level 22%. Mongolia's wine is 4.6%. Vodka is 55-60% in global level, but in vodka in Mongolia 17-38%. That means very cheap price and easy access for general population. And here you can see that how alcohol tax revenues in my country, that you can see that excise tax revenue is very small portion comparing to other tax revenues in the government level. That means we really need to advocate to increase excise tax of alcohol, all types of alcohol products in my country. And regarding health related sustainable development goals progress, that we have some progress for maternal and infant mortality reduction indicators, but still we have lagging behind targets, especially, for example, total alcohol consumption and male smoking rates is very high in my country. And there is also some findings like drinking issues is associated with the socioeconomic determinant factors from general population and most vulnerable populations, poor population, and male population is greatly affected for drinking issues. And in Mongolia, that for example, the one alarming issue is like among female population, drinking issues year by year increasing. And the recent 22 recent small survey which conducted among Mongolian women, sample size was around 2,700. They found like among pregnant women drinking issues also they found, and which is also associated their physical violence during the pregnancy, and also it increased the risk factors for that fetal alcohol syndrome issues among newborn babies, and all those issues is increasing. And even we have higher rates of alcohol consumption among male population, that women alcohol consumption year by year increasing. That means also we need to also need to design, we need to create effective policies, effective programs to target those marginalized populations. And even we have some alcohol control laws since 2000, and there is several revisions was conducted in some years. And we have a national alcohol control program which was designed and implemented from 2003 until 2012, but still that we need to update this kind of national control program and need to support financial resources, and the implementation mechanism needs to be introduced at the national level and local level. And also we have Excise Taxation Act, but still we need to increase excise tax in my country. Still we are very low excise tax levels like have comparing to other high level excise tax countries, for example, Australia, New Zealand. And also we have some advertisement law, and advertisement law, even we banned to promote alcohol products through media, but still there is some articles saying that some media, especially TV channels, some airing hours is already allowed to promote some low spirit contained alcohol products, including beer and wine. Still that the promotion it's ongoing through media, especially TV channels. That is also we need to work on this advocacy. And we have foundation law that we created, we established the Health Promotion Foundation, same as Thailand, but our Health Promotion Foundation still also we need to also advocate to change the existence of the regulation and also financial resource sharing, all those things also still we need to advocate. And we have also civil code violation acts also considered about alcohol issues. And recently last year, since last year July, we revised the existing alcohol control law and the tax related laws to increase excise tax of all types of alcohol products. But we are not happy with these legal changes, because these legal changes tried to limit our actions until 2030. We can't reach that kind of image or that kind of hidden messages they try to convey through this law. You can see like every 2 years, they try to increase the excise tax very low level, like every 2 years, like 10 from 5 to 10% increase. That means there is no price sensitive changes we are expecting from this law changes, and therefore we really need to advocate again to much increase of excise tax of alcohol products in my country, and we are really not happy this current local legal changes. And we have some progress, positive results of recent last decades advocacy on alcohol issues, and we are like, for example, national legal minimum age of selling accessing alcohol products is 21 year old that person, and but still that weak law enforcement practice, it's also influencing to implement this kind of legal practice. And we have also some achievements, like, for example, the alcohol tax little bit increased, and the city county office also, they created selling tax for alcohol and tobacco, and they created funding, but still we need to advocate how this funding can be spent for alcohol and tobacco control practice. And also health promotion foundation tax allocation also we have, but this foundation also regulation also we need to also revise, because health promotion foundation is under Ministry of Health, and therefore every new health minister appointed, those health ministers have a permission to spend this foundation money for all their health related programs, and they allocated very small of funding for alcohol control issues, and therefore that we really need to advocate for this foundation regulation as well. And also we have a foundation against alcoholism, and this health promotion foundation against alcoholism, this foundation 1% of alcohol import tax allocation was legalized by advocacy success stories, which supported by IGT and the Movendi International Organization since 2007, and we successfully legalized it, but still we continue to advocate how this foundation money can be spent for alcohol control issues. And also local county offices also, they tried to limit production and selling by introducing license permission, and also limit of importing by taxes also we try to regulate. And also drink driving enforcement also improved much comparing to 10 years ago. Legal fines increased. And also each month, the first day is no alcohol day, each local area. And that means like Cambodia case, like local governing office, that governing office issued order is quite strongly influencing, and quite good example how it can be introduced and advocate how it can be regulate alcohol control issues in each local area. And recently that new president, they tried to establish Healthy Mongolia initiative. That is really also good example and good leadership on alcohol control issues. And President, this Healthy Mongolia project is also one of their biggest topic areas, alcohol control issue. And this program is led by our former Dean of School of Public Health, and we are trying to closely work with this Healthy Mongolia initiative with the alcohol control program, and we are quite happy this leadership initiative. And also, even we have some small success, but still we have challenges, weak law enforcement mechanism. In my country, it's like we legalizing, but majority of cases like it, law becomes like symbolic. And because there is very weak law enforcement mechanism, very weak law enforcement mechanism indicated regulations, and therefore even we have good law, but we can't implement it at grassroots level, and therefore we really need to focus to improve that enforcement mechanism. Still we need to increase tax quite much, and also density of alcohol selling points is quite high comparing to total population number in each area. Therefore, we really need to reduce density of selling points. And also there is an issue is open display of alcohol products, and that means like easy access for young people and easy everyday exposure of young people when they visit the grocery stores. And alcohol product marketing is through TV is still ongoing. That is also we need to advocate to ban, hold 100% banning of alcohol products through TV channels. Alcohol product promotion through sport events still happening and targeting young people. Even they sponsoring league teams, and even they just displaying big banners inside sport halls when they organize big sport events. And also lack of collaboration between local government office initiative for multi-stakeholder agencies and organizations. And the Health Promotion Foundation, I already said that we need to change their regulations. We need to get increased funding for alcohol control issues. We don't have money for conduct alcohol-related research, but we need money to conduct those things, and we need use those research findings to conduct strong advocacy. But lack of funding, we can't do nothing. And also there is no financial support for for research, and also no regulation for connecting academic institutions and clinical level settings to improve therapies for accessing treatments for alcohol addicted people, and lack of human resource for alcohol control programs at the national level. When I visit in Hong Kong, only for tobacco control issues, they had at the Ministry of Health 70 employees team working only on tobacco issues. The same as alcohol issues in my country, we need human resource at the leadership agencies. In my country, in Public Health Institute, Ministry of Health, they have only key focal point, and those staff is responsible several programs, including alcohol, and therefore they can't be built their capacity. And even like government officials, that the staff turnover is very high because of political issues. Every 2-3 years, always change health minister, and then key government agencies staff is changed, and there is no sustainable human resource to controlling, contributing advocacy issues in my country. And also that the inspection agency, police department, key staff work responsibility is also the same as double, and lack of leadership at the key agencies, lack of intersectoral cooperation to strengthen policies and resource sharing. That recent COVID pandemic really shows like how intersectoral collaboration is very powerful for resource sharing, resource mobilization, to pool all the resources to one public health issue. And therefore, for alcohol control issue, we really need to cooperate with not only several few agencies, but we need to intersectoral collaboration. And future actions, we really need to increase alcohol taxation, 100% ban of alcohol product marketing and sponsorship. And also we need to change closing hours of bars, nightclubs, alcohol selling points, and ban of open display of alcohol products, and also ban of producing alcohol products with smaller sizes. And also we need to encourage strict workplace regulation. When I visit in Germany, they had very good workplace regulation, like employers, when they recognize their employees' absenteeism because of alcohol issues, they just raise those issues, and they ask compulsory, and they require employees need to be attend alcohol addiction therapy, and then they need to show that treatment attendance certificate, and then they can continue employed. That kind of workplace strong regulation can be reach many workplaces and can be distributed as a good example in my country. But in my country, we don't have such kind of regulations. And also we need to improve healthcare for addiction therapy. Still, addiction therapy is not included for health insurance. Health insurance support is really needed in my country to support access, improving access of addiction therapy. And also we really need to create regulation and legal support for training of public health professionals to work as inspectors for law enforcement, to contribute for law enforcement mechanism. And here in Mongolia, that only that the inspection agency, very few limited staff, and the police, some agency, some staff, involving for law enforcement process, but very limited human resources. And to add, to increase human resources for law enforcement, we really encourage system and mechanism to cooperate with other institutions to increase that volunteers who can be have a permission to have a to make fines for legal conflicting processes. And by 2030 agenda for sustainable development goal that in Mongolia level, that Mongolia is the one of the first country that adopted that SDG development policies in my country. And but still we have several even we have some progresses, but still we have some lagging behind that removing hunger and the sustainable cities, infrastructure, climate action, and life on land and peace in institutions, all those things. And also that lack of disaggregated data, that means like regular monetary evaluation processes really needed to control SDG progress in my country. And also that some positive progress, for example, there are vast difference in enrollment preschool education, and also the gender equality progress, very minor some progress we had, but still comparing to our global level, we still need to improve. And also that the gender gap between that employment, domestic engagement, domestic chores engagement is like for women is also spending more time on unpaid domestic chores and care work than men. And also gender-based violence is also increased during COVID pandemic because of alcohol issues. And still we have some challenges regarding to implement SDGs in my country. Weak institutional capacities, financial gap is the main challenge, and also that inadequate, inefficient resource allocation for any agencies, and also that public administration is lacks of institutional memory because of that high staff turnover, and because of the political issues is influencing for this, and therefore that it influences for long-term human resource capacity building. It influences again for all sector policy development issues, and therefore, and also one biggest challenge is corruption in my country is very high, and all these challenges are really lagging behind SDG the implementation process in my country. As an overall the conclusion, there is a strong need to integrate alcohol policies with other relevant policies to contribute for the SDG progress in my country. And the main issue is also leadership for key agencies, key ministries is very important. Intersectoral collaboration, clear financial resource sharing mechanism is very important. Monetary evaluation of the key indicators is also very important for each ministries. And human resource capacity building for sustainable staff placing is very important in my country. Thank you very much for your attention. Any questions?
May I have a question?
Yes, welcome.
Thank you very much that today data from Mongolia is very interesting about I that you show a Health Promotion Foundation fund that is the running in the Mongolia, and the point that you said that that it's the support that the campaign about alcohol is not enough, something like that.
Yes, you are right. For example, in Thailand, you have Health Promotion Foundation, And Health Promotion Foundation as an independent agency, you works, right? Your foundation works as an independent agency without interference from any ministries. And your foundation money is receives taxation money and it creates funding, and those funding fully 100% is spent for alcohol and tobacco control issues in your country. But in my country, we have Symbolic Health Promotion Foundation, which is supported by alcohol excise tax, like 2%, alcohol excise tax, 2%, tobacco excise tax, some medicine importing tax, but Health Promotion Foundation run and authorized by Ministry of Health. And Ministry of Health, they spent this foundation money for all their health related programs. Like they spent this money for communicable disease program, non-communicable disease program, all these programs they spent, not only alcohol, tobacco issues. And therefore, funding money dispersed, allocated for many programs. That means alcohol control program, we have limited funding. And we have separate foundation against alcoholism also, which is also run by Ministry of Justice. And that is again, the issue, the same story. Ministry of Justice spent this money against crime, against alcoholism, but very small money they spent for against alcoholism. Majority of their funding they spent against crimes. And that means we need to advocate the same, like Health Promotion Foundation against alcoholism need to be like Thailand example, separate agency like situation we need to establish. Thank you for your interested question.
Yes, thank you. Very interesting.
Welcome, Mike.
Yeah, I actually didn't raise my hand to ask a question. I like this conversation between Tira and you. I think this is a great presentation, and I think a great overview of some improvements in Mongolia. I think thanks to the funding from the IOGT-NTO movement a few years ago, as you said, Bolorma, some advances now. And I think you had a very impressive set of slides about the challenges. So maybe the only thing that I can ask now is the Healthy Mongolia initiative. Do you see an opportunity there to raise the profile of alcohol harm? Because you showed that alcohol harm really affects the health of Mongolians. So can you use this initiative to increase the awareness of alcohol harm and then the demand for alcohol policy?
Yeah, we can work closely with the Healthy Initiative, which run by President Cabinet, and that is really good opportunity for me to collaborate with this Healthy Unit, Healthy Project Unit, because I know that Professor Chimitsuru is my former Dean School of Public Health, and she was closely working with me, and now very soon I'm going to meet her to collaborate on alcohol control program and also that cancer control program in my country. And I will share my success stories when I achieve it with the Healthy Initiative program very soon. And I think we can achieve closely work with them. And recently, since last year, their initiative closely works with men's a non-profit organization, Public Health Institute, Ministry of Health, and all those agencies to advocate alcohol control issues in my country, especially to focus on men's alcohol issues in my country. Therefore, that I think that we can collaborate to continue to advocate to increase excise tax with this cabinet. And also their main key researcher is also one of our PHRC member, Dr. Arun Tuya, and who's also conducting health economic research regarding alcohol tobacco issues. And we hope we can achieve some cooperation with them. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I would like to ask Mike to make closing remarks of this event. Thank you.
Thanks, Bolorma. Thank you, everyone. Now I'm conscious of time. I think we are half an hour over, so the closing remarks will be short, even though the discussion was very rich. The presentations were very inspiring. And I think the work behind the presentations is really important. I think we have heard today the difference that the work makes, but also the challenges that everyone is facing. So I have 5 points. I think it's really important just to talk about common issues that we are hearing here in addressing alcohol as obstacle to development in Asia. One is the common issue is the youth dimension, the need to mobilize young people, and the potential that we see when youth is mobilized, gets engaged. We have heard this from Sri Lanka, and from Thailand we have heard the challenge there. That also the alcohol industry is using youth or youthful techniques. That brings me to the second issue, industry interference. Thailand has a world-class alcohol policy model, and this is under attack now. And we have heard how and what the issues are there. So I don't need to summarize this, but we need to do work to defend Sri Lanka and Thailand with their alcohol policy models, and then to see that we overcome alcohol industry interference in the other Asian countries like Mongolia, India, and Cambodia. So in Asia, we need to do 2 things: defend against worsening good alcohol laws and defend against interference that block any progress. Like Bolorma showed with actually a proper alcohol tax in Mongolia. That brings me to the third common issue that we discussed here today, and that is alcohol taxation advocacy. We have heard it from Mongolia, Cambodia, and Sri Lanka, and it's a baseline in Thailand. The alcohol tax allows investments in the triangle that moves the mountain in Thailand. So I think this is a big potential. We haven't talked so much about how alcohol taxation can help drive development for all. So we stayed within, I think, the health conversation. When policy change at the national level is not possible, we know from Cambodia, for example, that alcohol policy change at the local level can be a pathway for change to create better livelihoods and safer communities for affected people in Cambodia, for example, for women. And we have heard from Sri Lanka that we can mobilize communities, make a difference in communities, and then get to national level policy change. So that is the fourth common issue here. And then last but not least, we started this conversation today linking alcohol harm and alcohol policy to this overall agenda of promoting development for all, the Sustainable Development Goals. I think we have huge potential there. Even for us today, we didn't then talk so much about, well, how do we link what is happening in Cambodia to this overall agenda? What is happening in Thailand to this overall agenda of the SDGs? And so I think we can do better work here as a movement in Movendi International and in each of the countries. And the reason why I think this matters is that we might get more supporters for the alcohol policy agenda, like we have seen from Cambodia, the women's rights community, like we could imagine from Thailand, as Tira is saying, the people on the ground support the current alcohol system. They are not in the social media, in the digital world, but there are the farmers, the people at risk of being left behind. And so if we frame alcohol policy in the context of these SDGs, we might get more support from these other groups. And I think with this, we have a great conversation here today, lots of exchange and learning from each other, and some of these common issues that we can take forward in our work together. So that's it from me. A really big thanks to everyone. Big thanks to you, Bolorma, for putting on this conference, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Mike, for very good conclusion and wrap up our conference. It is really a great opportunity to share knowledge sharing, experience sharing, best practice sharing among our Asian countries, how to strengthen our alcohol control issues, how our alcohol control policies can be contribute for SDGs in each countries, and that is really good opportunity for us, knowledge sharing, and through this conference opportunity. And thank you very much, Movendi International, to give us to facilitate this event, and we will continue to facilitate the next 1 or 2 sessions about this topic areas which we missed. Even we invited our speakers, like special session topic, for example, environmental dimension and economic dimension sessions we are going to organize the near future. And therefore, all our today's country representative speakers, please invite your relevant colleagues, relevant your researchers, relevant your agencies to participate our next conferences. And I would like to really big appreciation all your active participation. And I'm really impressed like how each country is really non-profit. Even we are non-profit organization, we are contributing a lot our own country alcohol control policies, and a lot of positive, a lot of role examples among other countries. Therefore, our conference will be disseminated lot of knowledge and best practice information for other countries, not only Asia. And therefore, I really would like to big thank for everybody for today's event. Thank you very much. And here I would like to close our sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Bolorma. Thank you, everybody, and have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.